So the Hauai Ahu Whenua Trust say that they've been acting in good faith with Hinara Heta since around October 2024, when some representatives of the trust allegedly came round to deliver Henry with this letter dated the 1st of October, asking that he vacate the whenua by the 28th of February 2025. Yep. Then there's these reports about the delivery of that letter, and this one is dated the 7th of October, and trustees present, Deborah Peacock, Patsy King, doesn't say anything about Warren Clendon, but they've got the delivery summary, and it says that on the morning of the 7th of October, Deborah Peacock and Patsy King arrived at the residence of Henry Heta to deliver an important letter from the trust. Upon arrival, we parked our vehicle and noted that Henry was engaged in a conversation with the rubbish truck workers. We chose to wait until he concluded his discussion before approaching him. Then it's got interaction details under various headings: initial greeting, response from Henry, trustee's explanation, Henry's reaction. So under the heading Henry's reaction, it says Henry became increasingly agitated, expressing that our visit was solely to a victim, which it appears to be by the wording of the letter, and that he believed only the Kaumata and Kuia, as well as those resting in the Urupa, had the authority over the whenua. He insisted, "This is my whenua, so you can't do anything." So that's one side of the story. And it carries on over here. Final attempts. We reiterated that our goal was not to argue but to deliver the letter, and that it was up to him to decide when to meet with the trust. Patsy suggested he bring his whānau to the meeting if he wished. As Henry walked away, visibly upset, Debbie indicated to him that she would be across the paddock from where he was staying, and if he wished to set up a time for discussion, he could go see her. However, he departed further from us. Given Henry's refusal to accept the letter, Debbie walked to the front door and placed the letter on the door handle. She should have delivered it to the letterbox. Then Catherine Rao came out, and after, as they were leaving, kind of thing. So it says here that this visit was primarily aimed at initiating communication with Henry regarding his current situation. This is the very beginning of this raru, you see, because this visit was primarily aimed at initiating communication with Henry. The delivery was met with resistance, and further communication will be necessary to facilitate a productive discussion. But you see, unfortunately, the dishonesty occurred right from the beginning, from the initial communications, because here we have a statement also dated the 7th of October, signed by Warren Clendon, that says that he drove Patsy down to Hinara Heta's to have a kōrero with him regarding the whenua and the intentions of the Hauai Ahu Whenua Trust, and she had a letter to deliver to him. That's that letter that we referred to earlier. We met Debbie Peacock at the address, and I remained in the car, he says. I could see Patsy talking to Hinare through the ranch slider that was ajar. After a matter of minutes, Hinare came outside and grabbed Auntie Patsy and was pushing her down the stairs. I could see he was aggressive, so I jumped out of the car, and by this stage he had turned on Debbie and was pushing her with his elbow under her neck against the wall and himself. So there, he's alleging that he pushed Auntie Patsy down the stairs and turned on Debbie and pushed her with his elbow under her neck against the wall, these are very serious allegations. And then Warren says, I pushed myself in between them to let Debbie get away and told him, "Don't you touch her, Henry." I was able to restrain him. Auntie Patsy then came onto the veranda and said to Henry, "I'll leave this with you," and she placed an envelope inside his door. Okay, so after she had allegedly been so shaken over the whole incident, both of them I felt, she went back to the car and Debbie retreated next door. Both of them I felt were a little shaken over the whole incident. This is as I remember it. We're not shaken enough to walk, right up to the door. And isn't it interesting that the account that's signed by both Patsy King and Debbie Peacock doesn't say anything whatsoever about any violence. So you have to question whether or not they were acting in good faith from the 1st of October, because this just doesn't add up. And also around 2024 here we have this letter from Patsy, an email actually from the Hauai Ahu Whenua Trust to the lawyer, forwarded from Patsy, where the admin of the Hauai Ahu Whenua Trust, being Debbie Peacock, refers to the fact that Catherine Rao has got in contact with your secretary regarding Hauai and Henrietta, and we consider her ringing you for further information as a conflicted of interested, as you represent the Hauai Ahu Whenua Trust. We appreciate your tactful approach. Please find below information regarding engagement with Heta whānau and some information by Patsy regarding Catherine Rao. Patsy's provided the body of the text below with some minor additions from myself. I've also attached documents related to the Heta whānau and the Hauai situation. So Patsy and Debbie state the following. Below are some links related to Catherine Rao. These are just a few examples of Catherine Rao's behaviour and patterns. She has already alienated herself among the Rawhiti community. Her behaviour appears unstable. Her behaviour is always looking for a fight, always, and perhaps considers herself a justice warrior, for want of a better term. The next fight for her, it seems, is Henry Heta, Bella Heta's son. The Maori Land Court website info sent to me by Betty has this. But I just question this first bit here. I mean, seriously? So Victoria Allen could be Jim's. So this is a pretty vague allegation here, but anyway, goes on to talk about how Jim Heta swapped his shares from Kaimara with his sister. I think that means Kaimarama. Victoria Allen Heta, who on-sold it. That's debated, and then it goes on to say the 2D8 block is currently a reservation block, and that is debated. And then it goes on to say that Henry's shareholdings in 2D7 will not allow him to meet the current criteria of shareholding on 2D7, and confirms that he came back about 10 years ago, moved in with his mother after the passing of his father. It refers to an agreement with Glenys Papuni, and a letter that Glenys Papuni alleges was signed by Bella Heta. Before it goes on to say that we will not be communicating any further with Henare Heta. I think it's fair to say that this letter indicates a very negative bias against Catherine Rao and Henry Heta from dating back to 2024. And where it refers to see below for all this evidence of Catherine Rao's wrongdoing, the only evidence that seems to be here is source of all the links below is Catherine Rao Official Information Act requests FYI. So you wonder what that might be. And then you have a look at the transcript of the recorded hearing that took place in the Maori Land Court. And the only people in attendance was Victoria Heta and her partner Rana Refa. And the court called the matter up early, despite directing that all the trustees of the trust had to be here at this hearing. Not one of them was. And Henry Heta was denied the opportunity to appear also. And so Victoria Heta attempts to persuade the court that Henry Heta is a very bad person, and then she talks about her own reputation, and she says, the mahi that I do and have always done is for the benefit of our whānau, our hapu and wider community, and it is proven through the internet. You can Google my name, and you will see all the mahi that myself and Rana have done over this last 30 years. You do the same with Catherine Rao, and immediately you will find over 57 OIAs filed by Catherine. This, over the last 20 years she's been doing this, she is professional. Whereupon the judge says, okay, well, we'll just adjourn it.